What's going on, G Will? Yes, I'm live today. Phoenix Rising. Hello, hello. Free J. John Thompson. Yes, I am late. I had a video rendering and I couldn't go. The last time I went live and had a video rendering, the stream was really choppy. And oh, hold on. Let me see something. Let me make sure my sound is good. Can you guys hear me okay? Looks like it's good. Okay, yes. So the last time I went live, I had a video rendering and it made the stream choppy. It made the video that I was playing choppy. And I was like, oh man, come on. And for some reason, this video took like way longer than normal to process. So I'm actually going to get right into it. We're covering the Hunter Biden pardon and what I think about it. I actually think it's funny, but I want to show you guys the biggest problem I have with it is not that he was pardoned. It's the left's reaction to it and hypocrisy, and the right's actually been okay on this. It's actually been the left that's more freaking out over it. But anyway, let's go straight into Hunter Biden. Let's see. Bam, bam, boom, bing.
Hunter is on trial, and I know that you cannot speak about an ongoing federal prosecution. But let me ask you, will you accept the jury's outcome, their verdict, no matter what it is?
Yes.
And have you ruled out a pardon for your son?
Yes. I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He's one of the brightest, most decent men I know. And I am satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him. I said I abide by the jury decision, and I will do that, and I will not pardon him.
But from a presidential perspective, is there any possibility that the president would end up pardoning his son?
No.
Well, is there
I just said no. I just answered.
The president would not pardon or commute the sentence for his son, Hunter. I just want to make sure that that is not going to change over the next 6 months. The president's saying he would not.
It's still a no. It's still a no.
It's always been a no.
It's still a no. It will be a no. It is a no. And I don't have anything else to add. Will he pardon his son? No.
His son, Hunter, is also up for being sentenced next month. Does the president have any intention of pardoning him?
We've been asked that question multiple times. Our answer stands, which is no.
President Biden says that he's not going to pardon his son, Hunter. Is he going to ask Donald Trump to do that?
I don't have anything else to share about that. I'm not going to go down a rabbit hole on this. I've been very clear. The president's been very clear when we've been asked this question.
The president has ruled out pardoning his son.
It takes new weight when we see what Trump is saying about the outcome of his trial, what we're hearing from other Republicans who say they don't accept the jury's verdict here.
That's a short skirt. What is that all about? So as you can see, non-stop, over and over and over again. As soon as Trump got it, or not Trump, as soon as Biden got in office, he started going after Trump. And this is just something that kept coming up. Since he declared that he was running again, they started saying, well, wait a minute. If you run again, are you going to pardon Hunter? This has been the entire election cycle. And this is what you've been getting the entire time.
New York.
The contrast is profound. To sit there and say, well, I'm not going to intervene in the legal process and I wouldn't pardon my son. One side, Democrats and Joe Biden protecting the justice system. And on the other, Republicans and Trump protecting Trump.
Our current president of the United States has so much respect for the law that he has said he would not pardon his son. I mean, again, it's all about the contrast.
President Biden saying, I will respect whatever this jury decides, versus
right.
Donald Trump after he was convicted on 34 counts, saying the entire system is rigged against him.
Presidential promise to put the law before a family, letting the world know that he will not wipe away the decision of 12 of his son's peers.
Was asked directly, and he has said he wouldn't pardon his son if he gets convicted.
Let's wait and see what happens if he loses.
Yeah, but he said it.
He's going to get pardoned by his dad. There's no question about that.
Good evening. We're coming on the air with breaking news, first reported by NBC News. President Biden has pardoned his son Hunter ahead of the end of his presidential term. That's according to a senior White House official with direct knowledge of the decision. Remember, Hunter Biden was convicted back in June on 3 separate felony charges related to his purchase of a gun in 2018, a time during which prosecutors say he was battling a drug addiction and lied about it on paperwork to get that gun. It was the first time a sitting president's child was convicted of a crime. Hunter Biden also pleaded guilty to federal tax charges in September. In that case, he was charged with 3 felony tax offenses and 6 misdemeanors, including tax evasion and filing a false return. NBC News has learned that this pardon is expected to cover both Hunter Biden's conviction and guilty plea. This marks a reversal for President Biden. Both he and White House officials have said repeatedly for a period of months that he would not pardon his son before leaving office. But tonight, the president has done just that.
Democrats have a moral perch from which they can judge without shame, hypocrisy, or nuance.
Breaking news, President Biden has issued a pardon for his son, Hunter Biden.
Mother! We were so close. I'm sure the pardon is a narrowly written, precisely drawn farewell note of compassion for a loved one.
The pardon sweeping, covering offenses that Hunter Biden, quote, has committed or may have committed or taken part in over the past 11 years.
I love it.
11 years is a very specific and not rounded amount of time. So, Hunter, I'll give you a pardon. A few years, 5 years, 10 years. It needs to be 11.
And a lot of.
All right. So before you even move on to this, he can be funny. Actually, let me throw this up. What did she say? She said he's funny. Yes. So he can be when he's being fair and when he's being neutral. He can be funny. But that 14 years is very interesting. And there are reasons for it. I'm going to go over those today. Before we get to her, I can't stand her face. Let me get off of her. All right. So let's look at the actual statement that he put out. Let's see. Oh, no, they're not going away, Gw. They're not. So there's some that are. And I actually spoke to my son-in-law, who's an attorney, and we spoke about this for a little while yesterday. Because I haven't been able to go live. I wanted to go live like immediately, but my work schedule is funky right now, and I'm working on it. But when I put out videos, please support the videos because I will be still able to do that. But just going live right now, when I get home, I have a really long commute. Yeah, it's rough. But I will be going live. Most likely, when I do going forward, at least for now, it'll be back-to-back days because I get 2 days off in a row now. But yeah, so I'm working on all that. I'm working all that out. I'm working on all of it. So I want to go over the statement that Joe Biden put out because it's interesting to me. Let me see. Can I make this? There we go. And I'll get myself off of here and just read the part that I think is important. All right. I don't know if you guys can see this. It says, this is a statement from Joe Biden. This is the actual, let's see. This is the White House website, whitehouse.gov. I don't know if you can see that up there. And he says, today I signed a pardon for my son, Hunter. From the day I took office, I said I would not interfere with the Justice Department's decision-making, which he obviously did. And I kept my word. Even as I watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted without aggravating factors, Just already, this is so ridiculous. This is so ridiculous based on what they've done to Trump. But anyway, without aggravating factors like use in a crime, multiple purchases, or buying a weapon from a straw purchaser, people are almost never brought to trial on felony charges solely for how they filed or filled out a gun form, even though it's a felony. Anyway, those who are late paying their taxes because of serious addictions, which is an interesting caveat, but pay them back subsequently with interest and penalties, are typically given non-criminal resolutions. It is clear Hunter was treated differently. We're going to go over some other crimes because just because these are the things that he was charged with, there's a reason why he did that sweeping broad statement as far as his pardon goes. Actually, I don't even need to read the rest of this crap. This is funny though. For my entire career, I've followed a simple principle. Just tell the American people the truth. They'll be fair-minded. Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system. He just offset. Anyway, I believe in the justice system, but I've wrestled with this. I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. Oh, that sounds like Trump. Anyway, and for once I made this decision this weekend. There was no sense in delaying it further. I hope Americans will understand why a father and a president would come to this decision. Here's the part that Jon Stewart was just talking about. Let's see. To all whom these presents shall come, greeting. All right. Be it known that this day I, Joseph R. Biden Jr., President of the United States, pursuant to my powers under Article 2, Section 2, Clause 1 of the Constitution, have granted unto Hunter Biden a full, this is the important part, a full and unconditional pardon for those offenses against the United States which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period of January 1st, 2024 to December 1st, 2024. January 1st, 2014 to December 1st of this year, including but not limited to all offenses charged or prosecuted, including any that have not resulted in convictions. By Special Counsel David Weiss in docket number 123 CR 0001 MN in the United States District Court for the District of Delaware and docket, and he gave specific suits, specific investigations, 223 CR 00599 MCS1 in the United States District Court of Central District of California. That is unbelievable. That is unbelievable. So he pardoned Hunter for crimes that he may have done from 2014 to now, or to the beginning of this year. He's hoping Hunter hasn't committed anymore. There's a reason for these things, but I just thought that was hilarious and funny. And their constant push about the law and respecting the law. Joe Biden has every right, at least according to my son in our conversation, on the surface, he has every right to do this. The pardon powers are very, very broad. I've never seen anyone go back to 10 years, essentially, to do it. And that's the conversation we were having. He hasn't either. He's going to let me know if he can find precedent. There is precedent for broad powers. There's never been a son who's been pardoned. There's never been a person who constantly said, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it, and then does it. I'm curious to see who else he pardons, because his brother was also part of a lot of the stuff that's going on. And today we're going to go over a couple of things that they did, a few of those things actually. And I want you guys to think about Joe Biden in this, because this is not about Hunter Biden. This is not about being a crackhead. This isn't about any of the stuff that he was charged with, because he wasn't charged with most of the stuff that he did, which is why Joe did this full and unconditional pardon for a period of time. This is going to be challenged. My son doesn't think it's going to be challenged. I think it's going to be challenged. I just don't know how. And his basis for saying that he doesn't think it's going to be challenged is that when this challenge would take place would be under a Trump administration, and they would be suing the White House. So he believes that Trump would have to defend the position, and he also said that he does not think that the government would release this kind of power, because no one's ever done anything like this. He's in his opinion, he doesn't see why they would release this kind of power. Just like when they talk about term limits, and senators and House representatives always say we need term limits. Well, they'd be giving up a certain amount of power. So every time it comes to that vote, they never do it. This is my son's position, and it makes perfect sense. I just think they have to challenge this. And if they don't, they're going to find a way to bring up some of these other crimes, because if a state can charge him, they will. The problem is, this is the state of Delaware. And I don't think, what's going on, Dan Tana? I don't see how he can pardon somebody for a state crime. And I don't know, again, if this was because there was a District of Delaware and a District of California. Maybe because it was special counsel who was under the feds. It would have to be because it was the feds who were bringing the case. That would be the reason why it was covered under the pardon. But if a state goes after him, they can absolutely do that, and they are going to go after him. I guarantee it. But again, we'll go over some of the crimes. I just wanted to bring that up right now because Jon Stewart pointed out a very, very interesting and odd thing. 11 years ago, we're going back 11 years to January 1, 2014. Remember that, because I'm going to show you guys exactly what happened in February of 2014. Oddly enough, coincidentally. Very coincidentally. Anyway, back to the video.
And a lot of people are saying that it's hypocritical, etc., as if the other side doesn't do it. But what's your reaction to it?
I mean, I think all of the criticism is valid because, Democrats stand on this moral high ground all the time. And, they act so self-righteous. The reality is he didn't have to say anything in regards to, whether or not, his son wanted to be pardoned. He could have said, hey, man, I'm not focused on that right now. But since they were calling Trump a threat to democracy, and they were saying that, nobody's above the law, but they were speaking about him. That's what they were running on. So when he kept saying things like, nobody's above the law, I respect, the jury's decision in regards to my son, he didn't believe that. But he didn't have to volunteer that lie to begin with.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Uh-oh.
Only because you don't know that it was a lie. We don't know why he changed his...
You really think he just changed his mind over Thanksgiving weekend all of a sudden?
No, I'm going to tell you what I think.
Okay. Yeah.
I think he changed his mind because he got sick of watching everybody else get over.
Who has gotten over, whatever that means? Would that be Trump? Who has gotten over? They've locked up hundreds and hundreds of people. From January 6th, they've locked up former cabinet members, former advisors, former attorneys. What is she talking about? I just think they're sick of people getting over. What does that mean, lady? What are you talking about?
And this is just my feeling, because at some point you get to the place where you just go, so I'm just going to follow the straight and narrow always, because that's what's expected of Democrats.
But that's their fault. They're the ones that go out. They're the ones that go out there and they stand on this moral high ground.
Listen,
they don't have to do that.
I'm a Democrat.
Far be it from me to agree with CTG, because I don't like this guy. I genuinely don't like him, and I think most people know why. But here's the thing. Everybody who is what they would consider a Republican. So if you're on the conservative side, the Democrats love to do this. They will try to use our Bible against us. And what makes it weird is they don't believe in it. So they're trying to use your morality to attack you when they don't agree with your morality. Because if they did, they wouldn't be, for most of the, I won't say most, a lot of their positions go completely against our morality. So when you look at the topic of abortion, when you look at them talking about mutilating children, we don't agree with that stuff. We don't agree with a man punching a woman in the face for sport. We don't agree with that stuff, and it was widely rejected in this election. I wouldn't say the last, in this election that just happened. So when they try to use our morality against us, I always reject it outright. You guys seen me do this with David. You do not have the right to talk about God. You can't. You stand for late-term abortion. You cannot use this against me. I refuse. When they start saying, "Oh, he's a liar. This person lied," the racism, everything they use, Joe Biden was at the head of their ticket when they were using. He known racist. I did full live streams showing how racist he is, and you can't then come to me and say, "Well, your guy is racist. He's done this. Okay. I reject it from you. You are not the messenger for this. You can't. But to hear her, let's continue, because CTG, I won't say his name. I won't. I'll say Charlemagne, but I'm definitely not saying the TG. That's ridiculous. He made a point, and it's a valid point, and I agree with it. It'll probably be the only time I ever agree with him, because even when I agree with him, I know he's full of it, and I know he's up to something. And he did it through the whole election cycle. He pretended to be neutral and call out Joe Biden, racism, and Kamala being fake, and this and that. And then he says, "But I'm going to vote for them anyway." And he did it with both of them. It's all right. So then why'd you even do this whole little exercise? It's to pretend to be neutral. It's the same thing Stephen A. Snitch does. Exact same thing he does. He goes on, gets his views, and he's doing it for YouTube. And he pretends to be neutral, or he pretends to be conservative, or he pretends to have this middle ground approach. It's a lie. Don't believe it. He's up to something when he's doing it. It's to trick us and to trick people into listening to him, saying, "Oh, this guy seems fair." And that's how they get followers. That's all this is. And right now, CTG is trying to sell a book, and he's trying to get both sides to buy the book. To Michael Jordan's point, Republicans buy sneakers too. That's what he's doing. So when they go on these shows and pretend to be neutral, they're not. They're trying to get more people to buy their book, because they know only the left would buy his book. That's the only people who are going to buy his book. And that's what this is all about.
Tell me what the moral high ground is.
The moral high ground is nobody's above the law. I respect what the jurors are saying. You don't have to do that.
So we're mad at him because he changed his.
Oh no! By the way, I'm not mad at him pardoning Hunter Biden.
But you sound like you're
No.
If I can get in on this, I actually think it went further, and this is one thing we really disagree on. Joe Biden made a point of saying we stand by our institutions and the impartiality of the Department of Justice.
Yes.
Democrats ran on that. The same DOJ indicted Hunter Biden. We shouldn't be saying it's corrupt like Donald Trump does. But then in his statement pardoning Hunter Biden, he says that it was a political pursuit by his own Department of Justice.
He's in power. He picked Merrick Garland. He picked him. This has been a hoax the entire time. I made a video a while back about it. I'm like, this is not about Hunter Biden. They're not. I was hoping they actually did convict him, but right before they pulled this stunt. They knew they were going to do this the whole time. That's my opinion. And they made it look like it was going to be neutral so that Biden would have the excuse to do this, saying they're coming after my son, my kid. He's a crackhead. He's 50 years old. He's not a kid. He's been a crackhead for the last 25, 30 years. We're playing a game here. There's nothing innocent about him. There's nothing, you can't blame crack, and I'm going to show why. But either way, even if you did blame crack, how does that explain his behavior with, we'll say, his dead brother's wife? How does that explain his behavior sleeping with your dead brother's widow? And doing crack with her also, by the way. And that's where all the gun stuff came in. The gun stuff is serious, but not serious enough. There are way worse things that this guy has done. And it's all on video. It's all on video. It's on his own. He made the videos. And again, I'm going to go over some of those today. I'm OSpeaks. I say in every live that I lean to the right. Like, subscribe, share. Let's get back to this. Oh, I'm almost at 500. What am I at now? I'm at 489. If you know anybody who would agree or disagree with me, let them know. I think that would be really, really cool to get to 500. I'm almost at the watch hours and almost at the 500. So that would be really, really cool to get monetized. And of course, right when I could be doing all these live streams, work shifts, and I have to change it up so I can't go live as much as I want to. But I'm still going to figure something out for it. I'm still going to. Absolutely. Anyway.
To me, why it is that when Joe Biden does something, everybody clutches their pearls. He's wrong.
Nobody
he lied.
has criticized Donald Trump more than me or Charlamagne
No,
God.
I'm sorry. Yeah, people have criticized him more. I've criticized him more. We've all criticized him more. But you're missing my question. Okay. My question is, what is it that makes people flip out with Joe, but we don't have the same kind of thing?
Well, I don't think people are flipping out with Joe. I think Democrats are flipping out with Joe because Democrats believe that they don't represent what he's currently representing. But that's just not true. That's why I say they stand on this moral high ground that simply does not exist. And I think this is also the problem when we pick sides, right? We've turned political parties into teams. If you pick a side, right, if you say you're a Democrat, if you say you're a Republican, you refuse to be objective about anything.
That's why I'm an independent.
Yes, but that's
And I
not.
think that's the way to go.
No, he's not an independent. I wonder why people do that. Again, this is similar to what CTG and Stephen A. Smith do. They pretend to be neutral. I don't know why they do it. It gains them temporary credibility until you say, well, I'm still voting for this person that I just called crooked. Like that's back to Miss Phoenix Rising's point. Yeah, they charge them under Joe Biden's administration, under his own AG. So how can you say it's the Republicans? It doesn't make sense. And they're all his people, and he's been in politics for 50 of the last 54 years. He can't use that excuse. He can't.
But that's not a monolith. We're not. Democrats are not a monolith.
But why can't you say when Democrats are wrong? And why can't Republicans say when Republicans are wrong?
I'll tell you when Democrats are
wrong. So you don't think Joe Biden is wrong?
No, I don't.
Never.
And can I just point this out to you? The president has a pardon power,
you're ridiculous.
I didn't say you were ridiculous, Ms. Goldberg. I would never. I said that. I just think that.
Think about it. Can you reframe it in this way? Think about it maybe in this way. The president has the ultimate pardon power. Every president has done this, right? Yeah. And so
every president has not done this. She's full of it. No one has ever pardoned their son after they've been convicted. Matter of fact, he pardoned his son for things he hasn't even been convicted or accused of. He said, just in case you guys find anything between January 1 of 2014 and this year, I'm going to wipe it all away. Magic. Poof, gone. He didn't do it. That's what I was talking to my son about. Like, how can you pardon somebody for something they're not even brought up? They haven't even had charges brought up on yet. He believes that it's legit. I need to see the precedent for that because I just don't. I don't. But he knows a lot more about this than me. Obviously, he's a practicing attorney.
People are saying is that Joe Biden is now a liar, as opposed to Joe Biden is someone who now knows that the person that is going to be in the White House is on a revenge tour and his son is on an enemies list. And so he is using his rightful power, his rightful political power to pardon his son. Now, is that a lie or is that perhaps being pragmatic, having a change of opinion, as opposed to the president-elect who has lied almost 40,000 times during his first term?
Well, I can't say what it is because I'm not in
the moral high ground. Like, what's the faux outrage?
Neither one of them have the moral high ground. That's what I'm trying to get everybody to understand. But when you are a diehard Democrat or a diehard Republican, you refuse to be objective about the other party. Like, it's like we're watching them do something wrong, but we're making excuses for it. We watch Republicans do things wrong and they make excuses for it. Why can't we just all be objective and call it what it is?
Because it's not balanced.
Now, it's not the same. We disagree. It's our side. It's not the same. He's literally explaining to them what the problem is, and they're doing it right then on the spot. This is actually some honest Democrats saying, yeah, this is not good. This is just not cool.
Everyone looks stupid. Everyone looks like they're full of and I think that's the piece of this I am most frustrated with, which is Joe Biden looking like a typical lying politician. And I think that leads to a cynical feeling that all politicians are bad and they're all the same and that this is just par for the course.
I believed him. I don't know. I feel like a fool, you know? That's what makes me mad about it.
And that's why they lost. Right here, this is why they lost. The reason I say I lean to the right, this is why I say every live, is because people don't want to not know where you're coming from and believe you're neutral. This is why I don't like CTG. That's why I don't like Stephen A. Smith. They're pretending to be neutral and they're lying about who they are. The media lied about who they are. It was rejected, outright rejected. And there's no reason why they should be surprised at this point. This is why people get angry. When they find out the truth, it's like, wait a minute. You guys literally impeached a guy and said no one's above the law. Now, the president is saying his son is above the law. Within the law, he's going to free his son of all responsibility. A 50-year-old man, all responsibility. He's above the law. He's my son, though. Come on, guys. He's a crackhead.
Look, this whole notion that we heard from the Obama bros, that suddenly now they have been awakened to the fact that Joe Biden is a typical lying politician. He has been that, Todd, his entire adult life. This is the guy who said that he was arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela as a senator in South Africa. No, that never happened. This is the guy who told victims of a wildfire in Maui, one of the worst our country has ever seen, about the huge fire he had in his home one time that nearly killed his wife and nearly burned his Corvette. And oh no, actually the fire chief said that was contained in 5 minutes to a small part of the kitchen. This is a guy who called Georgia's new laws, voting laws, Jim Crow 2.0. No, it turns out they're breaking voting laws down there. This is the guy who said he inherited high inflation, the guy who said he inherited a mess at the border. And I could go on and on, but we got finite time here. Oh yeah, if you get the COVID vaccine, you won't end up in the hospital or die. Actually, that did happen. On and on. This is the reflex for Joe Biden. It's the Biden way. It's no shock that he lied because he's been doing that his entire adult life.
There is going back to one of his first presidential runs. I think he's run 3 times now. His first one, he had to get out of the race because he fully plagiarized a speech. He just did it again recently. I think in the State of the Union, he plagiarized part of a speech in school, in college, in law school. He got in trouble for plagiarizing papers. This is what the guy has done, nothing but lie. He's a liar. So to a point, I agree with them. Like, wait a minute, how do you guys not know this? But if you're constantly fed lies and you believe them, that's when people get upset when they find out the truth. So again, I lean to the right. I'm letting everyone know right now.
One group that is still not on board the let's beat up Joe Biden camp. It's The View. Whoopi Goldberg questioning why Democrats are upset over the Hunter pardon.
He is the president of the United States, and it is his right, and he doesn't have to explain to anybody. This is his right as president. He can pardon, if he wants to pardon Bozo the Clown, he can pardon Bozo the Clown. Yeah. So I'm not sure why people are clutching their pearls while the left is clutching their pearls.
First of all, clip this for when Donald Trump issues pardons, because you know they're going to attack his pardons no matter who it is. But what do you make of Whoopi and The View doubling down on their defense of Biden when even so many on the left are just absolutely done defending him?
When Mark Meadows, what was the other one? Giuliani. There's a few people who were advisors or within Trump's camp in his first, during his first administration. They said if he gets back in, it would be a real problem if he pardoned Giuliani, if he pardons any of the January 6 people, if he pardons, what's the military guy? Who was the general? I can't remember his name. Anyway, they're upset, or they were upset. They're not going to be able to be upset anymore. But they were upset at the thought that he would start pardoning people. That's all they've been talking about. Now all of a sudden, it's the president's. It's his ability. He can do this. I don't understand clutching your pearls. Who says clutching pearls? Who wears pearls besides Rodney Gordon? Why do they still say that? It's so interesting. It really is. It really is. And it's never been a problem for them unless it's on the right. It's just what they do. But he lied over and over and over and over. Yes, he repeatedly lied about it. I played a whole compilation. There's more. Trust me, there's more. But I played a whole compilation on it. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Wow, it's the same thing like we talked about before. It's the reflex, right? Joe Biden has a reflex to lie. The View has a reflex, automatic, that they will defend any Democrat that is in office no matter what. The bottom line is that Joe Biden promised he would not do this. He did. And now this opens the door for every Republican out there, every Trump supporter, to go to any Democrat whenever anything happens, or they talk about how they're going to save democracy and no one is above the law. Well, you can't use those lines anymore, can you?
Never again.
Because Joe Biden made sure that you won't. And the bottom line is that Joe Biden, look, he shows that he has zero respect for the institutions we were told by people on The View that he holds so dear as far as the rule of law. He just blew right through that stop sign. And now he's going to go down, Todd, as probably one of the worst polling presidents of all time. He's now at 36% approval. I have a feeling that's going to trickle down to the low 30s by the time he leaves office because almost no one supports this man.
It's important to.
So, again, it's more about the lying, to Mel's earlier point, than it is the pardon, because he does have the power to pardon. Again, it remains to be seen if you can do it the way he did it and give a 10-year period of crimes that weren't even brought to somebody. That I find hard to believe. But again, my son says that he can do it. We will find out. I need to talk to my daughter too. But he said they can do it. She actually knows more about constitutional law. So I need to ask her about this. She's a liberal though, so she may not. I don't know. We'll see. This is Speaker Johnson talking about what's going on.
To point out, and everyone has, and even many Democrats are now expressing their great disappointment and their dismay because the president promised us over and over and over, repeatedly, unequivocally. He told the American people that he would not issue a pardon for his son, and then he did it. It was more than 10 occasions. We have the receipts. It's all on video. They made formal, official declarations to that point. The White House said he wouldn't do it, but he did. So they misled the American people. And a lot has been recounted over the last couple of days since that happened, that it's just like when he said the border was secure. It's just like when he said that Bidenomics was working great for the American people. It's just like when he denied or tried to cover up his obvious mental acuity and decline. And it's just like when he insisted that the catastrophic Afghanistan withdrawal was somehow a success. This pardon is a perversion of justice, and it is a utter disregard for the rule of law, and it further undermines the people's faith in our system of justice. So we have.
I don't agree that's a perversion of the law or of justice. I just say it goes completely against what they said about the law and justice. It remains to be seen again if it is a perversion. We'll find out. We'll find out. I don't know what he plans to do. I'm curious. I'm not a fan of his, but he's done okay. But I don't know what he plans to do in regard to this. But I guarantee Bandy, she's going to come in and she's going to find a way. It's going to have to be done through the states, but they need to be open about it. So here's the reason why I was against the Biden administration's handling of all the Trump stuff. They lied about it. So what Pam Bandy needs to do is say, Hunter Biden did A, B, C. He was pardoned for B and C. There's still A. There may be some statute of limitation issues. We'll see. But I don't think this is over at all. I struggle. I really struggle with that 10-year period. January 1, 2014 to December 1 to this year. Like it also leads me to believe, because he went through December of this year, that crack or cocaine that was found in the White House, they know whose it is. Why would they keep going on through the beginning of this month? That's very, 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 very strange. It leads me to believe that he's still doing some stuff.
Reform on the way, and it cannot happen soon enough. And you've heard us say many times, you've heard me say many times as a former constitutional law attorney litigator, that this is one of the greatest concerns I have, when the people believe that there are two tiers of justice. And the current occupant of the White House emphasizes that point. It makes it very difficult. They have done, in my view, the Biden family, almost irreparable damage to our system of justice. So we have a lot to repair. But I am encouraged and excited that we have that opportunity beginning early next year. We need real reform, and this is why President Trump is appointing nominees who will shake up the status quo and get us back to the fundamentals. And I think that's really important.
I don't know what reforms he's talking about. So I need to see that before I agree with it. I'm not a fan of creating new laws. I would prefer that they just sue and get legal clarity. You have 9 experts on the law, which I'm going to say that for my next live. You have 9 experts on the law who can interpret what's already there. I don't like creating new laws. I'm just not a fan. Here's a little compilation of more people saying that no one is above the law. I have a lot of that. I have a whole other video to go over.
And he needs to be held accountable. I've seen people go to prison for far less. And the reality of it is that we have a person in the White House right now who has been shielded by a memo in the United States Department of Justice that says a sitting president cannot be indicted. I believe the American people are right to say there should be consequence and accountability for everyone, and no one is above the law, including the President of the United States.
No one is above the law. What about Hunter Biden? What about Hunter Biden from January 1, 2014 to December 1 of this year? Is he above the law?
No one, not even the president, is above the law.
No one is above the law.
No.
And the Constitution is the supreme law of the land.
Adherence to the rule of law is the bedrock principle of the Justice Department and of our democracy. Upholding the rule of law means applying the law evenly, without fear or favor. Under my watch, that is precisely what the Justice Department is doing.
So, get rid of that. So, Biden has now thrown Garland under the bus, and he is saying that he was going after my son. Even though he hired him, he's been horrible. He's done everything he can to go after Trump in every way possible. He's also going after my son. It's unfair. Horrible what they're doing to my son. So I got more. This is gonna get to the we're gonna more go over the crimes, and there's more of no one's above the law, of course.
The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case, and it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens.
Hunter Biden was given every chance to defend himself. It's a federal case. And it was heard by a jury of his peers. He was convicted.
12 Americans. 12 people like you.
12 people just like you.
Like millions of Americans who served on juries. This jury is chosen the same way every jury in America is chosen. It was a process that Donald Trump's attorney was part of.
It was a process Hunter Biden's attorney was a part of.
The jury heard 5 weeks of evidence. 5 weeks.
The jury saw, I don't know how many weeks of evidence. I don't know how many weeks.
And after careful deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict.
After careful consideration, Hunter Biden was convicted. on 4 charges, 3 felonies.
They found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts.
34 felonies.
Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision, just like everyone else has that opportunity.
Everyone else has that opportunity except for Hunter Biden because he's my son. He's not going through this again. It pains my heart to see my son go through this. He's a crackhead, everybody.
That's how the American system of justice works.
That's how it works.
And it's reckless. It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
That's interesting. Hold on, let me see one thing real quick. Let's rewind just a tad. Sounds like he said it's dangerous. 1 second. Joe Biden. Let's see something. Well, here, let's play this first. One more time.
For anyone to say this was rigged, justice works.
Here we go.
And it's reckless.
Reckless.
It's dangerous.
Dangerous.
It's irresponsible. For anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
All right. Let's see. I have watched my son being selectively and unfairly prosecuted. Right here, he's saying no one else would be charged with these things. The charges in his cases came about only after several of my political opponents in Congress instigated them to attack me. All right. With a number of my political opponents in Congress taking credit for bringing political pressure on the process, had the plea deal held, it would have been fair and reasonable resolution to Hunter's cases. No reasonable person looks at the facts of Hunter's cases can reach any other conclusion than Hunter was singled out only because he's my son, and that is wrong. Hold on, let me see something. Sorry, 1 second.
Our justice is dangerous. Just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works.
That's how it works.
And it's reckless.
Reckless.
It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict.
All right. There has been an effort to break Hunter, who has been 5.5 years sober. Then why did you have to pardon him up to December of this year? Anyway, sorry, sidetrack. Even in the face of unrelenting attacks and selective prosecution, in trying to break Hunter, they've tried to break me. There's no reason to believe it will stop there. Enough is enough. Here's the truth. Let's skip that. We've got to be fair-minded. Here's the truth. I believe in the justice system, but I've wrestled with this, and I also believe raw politics has infected this process, and it led to a miscarriage of justice. Let's go back here 1 second.
Our
this guy.
To appeal that decision, just like everyone else has that opportunity.
Why can't Hunter appeal?
That's how the American system of justice works.
That's how it works.
And it's reckless.
Reckless.
It's dangerous. It's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years.
I agree.
And it literally is the cornerstone of America.
It is.
Our justice system. The justice system should be respected. We should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are.
That's who we are. Hold on 1 second. Let's see if we're America. A full and unconditional pardon for those offenses against the United States, which he has committed or may have committed or taken part in during the period of January 1, 2014 to December to 5 days ago, including but not limited to all offenses charged or prosecuted, including any that have resulted in convictions or not. That's interesting to me. Unconditional. It seems like what Joe is saying is that that's
the justice system
dangerous.
should be respected.
It should be respected.
And we should never allow anyone to tear it down.
No.
It's as simple as that.
It is pretty
That's
simple.
America. That's who we are.
This guy.
And that's who we'll always be, God will.
Always.
No one is above the law.
No one is above the law, not even the son of the President of the United States.
No one is above the law.
The fact is, no one is above the law.
The idea that no person is above the law is a bedrock principle of American justice.
No man is above the law.
Interesting.
No one is above the law.
No one else is above the law, including a president.
Nobody is above the law.
That no one, not even the president, is above the law.
And that no one is above the law.
No one is above the law, and our president is not above the law.
So the basis for them saying this is the immunity that the Supreme Court said Trump had as the president of the United States. So what does Joe Biden do? He gives his son immunity. His son has immunity during the period if he committed any or may have committed any crimes from January 1st, 2014 to December of this year. That's immunity. Whether he was charged or not, he has immunity for an 10-year period, 11 years. This is January of the first year to the end of the second. That's immunity. So this is all under the context, if you take it in context. The Supreme Court decided that the president of the United States had immunity while he was acting in the capacity of being president. Joe Biden just gave it to his son, not the president, his son.
No man is above the law. No person is above the law. No one is above the law.
That nor any other title puts you above the rule of law.
No one is above the law.
That is what it means to have a rule of law. That is what it means to not have a king.
They're not above the law.
Nobody is above the law.
That no one is above the law.
We have one set of laws in this country, and they apply to everyone.
The law is the law, and no one should be above it.
Yes, nobody is above the law.
Great video by Daily Caller. Great video.
There was.
Now, the first impeachment of Donald Trump was over Ukraine. And trust me, I'll bring this back around. Trump called Vladimir Zelensky, whoever that guy is. We don't know who he is. We didn't know who he was at the time. Now we know who he is. He called Vladimir Zelensky and said, hey, something's going on with Hunter Biden. And he's in your country. Can you do me a favor? Look into this Burisma company. It's an energy company that Hunter seems to be hanging around a lot with. Trump gets impeached from that. And we're going to look at what he was saying, and then we're going to consider, wait a minute, what does this have to do with now? This is fascinating stuff, especially for people who were paying attention back then. But if you weren't, I'm going to help you guys understand who Hunter Biden really is. I just made, this morning, I made a playlist of all of my Hunter Biden videos. If you want to know who he is, hit play all, and you're going to watch me describe who this guy is and why this is way more dubious than it seems. Way more. Because it's not about Hunter Biden. It's not. This is about Joe Biden. But let's listen to Trump defend himself as the media, once again, was calling him evil for making a phone call and holding money that's supposed to go to Ukraine. He was holding money, saying, you know what? I don't want to send money to this corrupt country. You're not going to get the money until I find out if you're on the up and up or if you're corrupt also. So let's listen to this.
Pressure put on with respect to Joe Biden. What Joe Biden did for his son, that's something they should be looking at. They have no idea how they stop me. The only way they can try is through impeachment.
Mr. Trump has been shifting his rationale for holding up the Ukraine money, at first claiming he didn't want the funds to fuel corruption.
We're giving a lot of money away to Ukraine and other places. You want to see a country that's going to be not corrupt.
Hoping to tamp down on the controversy, the president tweeted he is authorizing the release of the complete, fully declassified and unredacted transcript of my phone conversation with President Zelensky of Ukraine. The president ordered administration officials to hold up hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine back in July, just 1 week before he asked Ukraine's president to investigate Biden's son Hunter's business dealings, despite zero evidence of wrongdoing.
Of course, there was zero evidence of wrongdoing. They had to throw that in there. But he called Zelensky and said, hey, I'm not giving you this, they said hundreds of millions of dollars, so much money. I'm not giving you hundreds of millions of dollars until you look into something, because I think there's some corruption going on. What they say, he's interfering in an election. He's going after, he's targeting Hunter Biden, Joe Biden's son. And he's saying, no, I don't want to send hundreds of millions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine, which is weird because this is before Joe Biden got elected, right? So, hundreds of millions of dollars that Trump was holding up from Ukraine. Let's listen to Joe Biden talk about when he was VP dealing with Ukraine, the president that we ousted. And he's talking, well, I'll let you listen to him. Follow me, please. Follow me. Follow me on this journey. Matter of fact, if you're new here, like, subscribe, share this video. This is important stuff because people keep thinking it's about the pardon. It's not. It's not about the pardon. It's about the lies and what's underneath the pardon. That is the problem here. But let's listen to Joe Biden, who was vice president, not president, vice president. He called, actually he went to Ukraine. Why did he go to Ukraine? Let's listen.
I remember going over, convincing our team, or others too, convincing us that we should be providing for loan guarantees. And I went over,
loan guarantees.
I guess the 12th, 13th time to Kyiv, and I was supposed to announce that there was another $1 billion loan guarantee.
$1 billion loan guarantee to Ukraine from the United States. This is before Trump. This is before Trump ran. This is before Trump became the president. Listen to what he's saying. I went over there to Kyiv, which is in Ukraine, and I was in charge of this $1 billion loan guarantees. Not the hundreds of millions that Trump got in trouble for. $1 billion. Listen.
And I had gotten a commitment from Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor. And
so, Poroshenko was the guy Zelensky replaced. I think that's who he replaced. Hold on, let me make sure. I don't want to spread disinformation or misinformation. Poroshenko, president. Yep. He was the president of Ukraine from 2014. That's interesting, huh? 2014, what? Where did I hear that number? Oh, January 2014, Hunter Biden. So Poroshenko is the billionaire president of Ukraine that we replaced with an actor, Vladimir Zelensky. So he spoke with Poroshenko and said, hey, there's a prosecutor in your country. I need you to look into him. I'm going to rewind a little bit. So it doesn't sound like I'm speaking for him.
Poroshenko and from Yatsenyuk that they would take action against the state prosecutor, and they didn't. So they said they were walking out to press conference. I said, no, I said, I'm not going to, we're not going to give you the $1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours. I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money.
If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Why would a vice president of the United States go to Ukraine and threaten to hold $1 billion, not hundreds of millions or $100 million, $1 billion? He threatened, you're not getting the $1 billion unless you fire this prosecutor. This is his words. Go back just a little bit. This is his words.
$1 billion. They said, you have no authority. You're not the president. The president said, I said, call him. I said, I'm telling you, you're not getting the $1 billion. I said, you're not getting the $1 billion. I'm going to be leaving here. And I think it was, 6 hours. I looked, I said, I'm leaving in 6 hours. If the prosecutor's not fired, you're not getting the money. Well, son of a bitch. Got fired. And they put in place someone who was solid.
So he did worse than what Trump did. Because remember, he got impeached for withholding hundreds of millions of dollars from Ukraine under the condition that they investigate something that he believed was corrupt. Joe Biden goes as the vice president, not the president, as the vice president, and threatens to hold or to not give $1 billion. He didn't say we were going to hold it. He said, you're not getting it. $1 billion, not to investigate anything, but to stop someone from investigating. What was he investigating? That prosecutor was investigating Burisma. Burisma is the company that hired Hunter Biden and paid him 6 figures to do absolutely nothing. Hunter Biden made millions of dollars working for Burisma, an energy company. Hunter Biden knows nothing about energy, and he was a crackhead. Think about what I just said. Trump got impeached. Now, the good thing is the Senate didn't go with that nonsense, but they impeached him over this. Biden, they left. He wasn't even president. He didn't threaten to hold $100 million until the investigation. He threatened, you're not getting $1 billion until you fire this guy who's looking into my son. Flat out extortion, but not a big deal, I guess. Listen to her celebrating when Trump got convicted of the 34 counts. But listen to her talk about pardons.
Facing 34 felony counts here in New York, and he'll also face, in my view, some counts in Georgia. So a pardon is a federal pardon.
Try not to show how gleeful you are.
I know. I'm
how happy you were.
trying not to. But a federal pardon could certainly pardon him from anything that the Department of Justice is investigating on a federal level. But I think it sends the wrong message to pardon a president who was impeached twice, but was also just flouted the law, especially on January 6th, and tried to destroy our very democracy.
This is the same woman who's saying, well, he's got the power to pardon his son. She didn't think that Trump should ever get pardoned. It just doesn't look good. He constantly broke the law. Same person. The attorney over the one who does legal notes on The View. Exact same person. It's not good to pardon somebody who's flaunting themselves and breaking the law. But now she's celebrating it for Hunter. This is what CTG was talking about when he said, well, both sides do it.
Jackie Bao. But unlike Fang, Jackie actually worked in Hunter's office as his flirty assistant.
So I did videos. Again, I made a playlist. It's 13. 11 of them are videos. They're not very long on Hunter Biden. I didn't have to go look up anything. I just went to my own videos and clicked the stuff out. I've already done the research on this. Who is Jackie? Let's listen to who Jackie is. This is why he had to be pardon from 2014. But again, let's listen to about
Jackie Bao. But unlike Fang Fang, Jackie actually worked in Hunter's office as his flirty assistant. When Hunter wasn't leaving his doggy tags over her apartment, he was having her run point on a giant deal to send U.S. natural gas to China. She even gave Hunter a map telling him exactly where she wanted the energy to come from. But her primary mission seems to have been getting Joe Biden to run in 2020. New emails reveal she pestered Hunter to convince his dad to run, telling him this: "You need to help Uncle Joe run for president. He will be one of the best presidents in our country's history."
This is a Chinese spy colluding to get Joe Biden in office. A literal spy. Remember, Russia collusion? That was another case brought up against Donald Trump. This is a Chinese spy who worked for Hunter Biden, trying to get his father to run in the election that he won. The one where they got the extra 12 million votes. This is literally what happened. She was a spy who worked for him, who was banging this dude, who does nothing but bang prostitutes. That's who Hunter Biden is. I'm going to show some stuff here. Understand what I'm saying here.
We can't stand Trump anymore. And she even compared Joe Biden to Winston Churchill. So we have a Chinese spy working for Joe Biden's son, convincing them to cut natural gas deals to ship home and get their puppet Joe Biden to run for president. Does this not sound like a national security risk to you?
She worked in the office for Hunter Biden. Now, it was closed down. But she worked in this very office where classified documents were found at the UPenn library or wherever it was. There was an office in Pennsylvania where they found boxes of classified documents. She worked there.
But we asked the FBI what they think, and they actually got back to us, telling us the FBI has no comment. They investigated Trump over a hoax in a hotel room. But when a Chinese spy actually infiltrates the Biden family, the FBI has no comment.
The focus again relates.
Now, this one here directly discusses 2014. Listen to these crimes. There's a lot more, by the way, than what I'm putting here. Again, check my playlist. You're gonna be amazed, and I did them in order of how I made the videos. You're gonna be amazed at what this guy has done and gotten away with. But this is about 2014. Listen to what this guy did.
To Ukrainian energy giant Burisma, where Hunter Biden served on the board. But one of the allegations surrounds a 2014 transfer of $3.5 million to a shell company called Rosemont Seneca Thornton from
February of 2014. A Russian oligarch sent Hunter Biden $3.5 million. Russia. That's the enemy, I thought. That's what we've been hearing, how Russia interfered against Hillary Clinton to get Trump in. But here's Russia giving Biden's son $3.5 million. Is that weird? So far, we have China with a spy working for Hunter, convincing Joe to run. And now we have, in 2014, while the vice president is the vice president, what's going on, Andre Dub? While the vice president is Joe Biden, his son getting money in February of 2014. Remember, the pardon was from January of 2014. This is why it was so important for him to be very specific to exactly 11 years ago in January. Gotta pardon him. Anything that he may have done right before this Russian oligarch gave his son 3.5 and December of this year, 5 days ago, anything that he did between then, wipe the slate clean. He was on crack. Come on.
Russian billionaire Yelena Baturina. Of this money, $750,000 was transferred to Devon Archer. You'll remember he recently gave closed-door testimony to the House Oversight Committee. And the remainder of the money was used to initially fund a new company account, Rosemont Seneca Bohai, which Devon Archer and Hunter Biden used to receive other foreign wires.
Let's go back just a little bit because you're going to see something else. In spring of 2014, a Ukrainian oligarch placed Archer and Biden on the Burisma board of directors. Oh, they got paid $1 million a year. Again, 2014. So all of 2014. And we're year 3 of Joe Biden's vice presidential term under Obama. Or that last term. We're in year 3. What does it say up here? Hunter, I don't know if you guys can see this. Right there, it says in spring of 2014. That's when they got put on the board of Burisma. Burisma is the company that prosecutor that Biden got fired over the threat of $1 billion. That's the company. So does it make a little bit more sense now? Trump impeached, calling Zelensky to look into what he believed was corruption. He didn't tell him what to find. He said, I need you to look into what Hunter Biden is doing in Ukraine at this company, Burisma. Held a couple $100 million, impeached. Biden holds $1 billion. He didn't hold $1 billion. He said, you're not getting $1 billion if you prosecute if you prosecute this company that my son works for. And they're paying him $1 million a year. Not only did he not get impeached as a vice president, nobody cared. Nobody cares. We've had this audio since 2015, 2016. He bragged about doing what Trump got impeached for. Worse, more money, and he didn't threaten to hold the money. He threatened to not give it to them. And he wasn't even president. He had no power to do that. He literally extorted the president, Poroshenko or whatever his name was. He extorted that man for $1 billion and said, you're not going to get it if you don't fire the prosecutor. It's the exact opposite of what Trump did. Trump wanted justice. He said, look into this. Biden wanted them to stop. This guy's going after my son's company. Stop. You're not getting $1 billion. You got 6 hours to fire the guy. Corrupt? Maybe? Just a little bit.
Hunter Biden used to receive other foreign wires.
Equity firm previously tied to Hunter Biden has a $1.7 billion stake in the Chinese state-owned company Biden sold oil to.
It is another example of how bad things really smell with all the issues around Hunter Biden.
How Hunter Biden got high-up positions in these companies still unclear. Critics arguing his connections had more value than his talent.
I think the American people deserve the truth on this because Joe Biden is certainly compromised.
The Daily Mail reporting Hunter Biden may face federal prostitution charges for bringing 3 escorts from Boston to New York for a fun night. That man.
All right. I need you to listen to what she just said. It's kind of chopping up. I don't know why it's chopping up. This is what P. Diddy, or one of the things Diddy is being charged with. So these aren't things that Hunter is being singled out for. This is human trafficking. Now, they didn't prosecute him for this, but they could have. This is what they're prosecuting Diddy on. If I'm Diddy, I'm going to say, well, wait a minute. They never even prosecuted this guy. Prosecution. Hunter Biden could face prostitution charges for transporting hookers across state lines and disguising checks to them as payments for medical services. First son spent $30,000 in 5 months on the girlfriend experience on hookers. Now, again, this isn't about hookers. This isn't really about Hunter Biden. This is about where this money come from. It came from Ukraine. The same place that we're supporting, sending money to. You, Andre Dutt, what's going on? Everybody in this chat is sending money to Ukraine so that this guy can get paid to do this. This is why it's a problem. It's not he pardoned his son, even though that's corrupt. But it's legal. He can do that. It's that we're pretending that the only crime that this guy did was the gun thing and tax evasion. It has nothing to do with those things. It really doesn't. This is what it has to do with. That Chinese company, let's go back just a little bit. This Chinese company, Joe Biden sold nearly 1 million oil barrels from our reserves. Remember when we were talking about this? When I was talking to David, we got rid of our reserves. Where did it go? China. Do you people understand this level of corruption? It goes way beyond Hunter. But it went to a Chinese gas company, oil company. It went to a Chinese oil company that Hunter, his private equity firm, had $1.7 billion stake in. In April, it says Joe Biden authorized the release of 1 million barrels of oil a day from the strategic reserves. Remember when we had the reserves? Remember when gas was going up and he was depleting our reserves, trying to supposedly keep the prices down because they would go up more? You remember that? I do. He said it would help address the supply disruptions caused by Putin, even though his son got $3.5 million from Putin. But anyway, Putin's further invasion of the Ukraine and the price hike that Americans are facing at the pump. Last week, it emerged that the Biden administration had, in fact, sent 5 million barrels abroad to China. On Thursday, it emerged that 950,000 barrels were sold to the Chinese state-owned China Petrochemical Corporation, known as Sinopec. On Friday, it further emerged that Hunter Biden's private equity firm bought a $1.7 billion stake in Sinopec 7 years before. Is that a coincidence? Hunter's lawyers in November said that he no longer holds a stake in that investment company. Do you people understand this level of corruption? This is not about crack. This is not even about a son. This is about Joe knowing this stuff. I wish I put the voicemail on here. He knows about this stuff. Yes, I remember. It just wasn't an important enough topic to go into at that time. But yeah, we absolutely Andre Dutt came up on a panel. We did a live together. If you guys didn't see that, it was really, really good. It was informative. We talked about J6, and he absolutely brought this up. Absolutely brought this up. What's going on, Mike?
$7 billion stake in the Chinese state-owned company Biden sold oil to.
Is another example of how bad things really smell with all the issues around Hunter Biden.
How Hunter Biden got high up positions in these companies still unclear. Critics arguing his connections had more value than his talent.
I think the American people deserve the truth on this because Joe Biden is certainly compromised.
The Daily Mail reporting Hunter Biden may face federal prostitution charges for bringing 3 escorts from Boston to New York for a fun night. That may actually classify as a not-so-fun federal offense, transporting prostitutes across state lines. Hunter's escorts often have ties to Russia. Timelines show he would pay for these services after receiving large money wires from his dad.
So, and all of this was discovered on the laptop that they said was Russian disinformation. All of this. His father would send them huge wires of money, and he would spend it on prostitutes. This is a smart guy Joe Biden said he's ever known. Hold on, let's see. I want to see something real quick. If you guys knew the amount of crap I know about this, you would be furious right now. But I want to look at something real quick. Where is it? Come on. Sorry. All right. I'm gonna switch it, and I'll bring it right back to that. But I want to show you guys something because It's BS. This is BS. Let me get rid of that one and bring this one up. Now, I want you guys to understand Joe Biden, for the last 50 out of the last 54 years, has been in power. He's worked as a public servant. This is what I just typed in. What is Joe Biden's net worth? I want you guys to understand this, because this is as of 2024. This was June 17th of this year. Joe Biden's net worth is about 10 million, according to Forbes. Now, for president, he earns 400,000. The president of the United States makes 400,000. Before that, he was making around between 1 and 2, 147,000. So I need you guys to ask yourself, if you're making that kind of money, how do you amass $10 million? How? He shouldn't even be a millionaire at that with that salary. It's decent money, but you should not be a millionaire. How did he get 10 million? How did he get this real estate? Book royalties. Nobody bought his book. This is not about Hunter Biden. This is about what we're looking at. How do you have $10 million cannot just come from nowhere. The first lady earned $620,000 before taxes in 2023. How? How? Could somebody tell me how? Where is this money coming from? She's a doctor. She's Dr. Jill. She's a teacher. She's a professor. I don't understand. Can somebody explain that? Let's see. 1 second. I'm looking for something. It says he earned more than $540,000 for his book. So we're nowhere near 10 million. How you doing, Miss Akimi? Here's the funniest part. In real estate, this is where most of his money supposedly comes from. He owns 2 properties in Delaware. One is worth 4.5 million. The other is worth 2.5 million. How can he afford that? Can somebody explain how he can buy those homes? How does he own, let's see, $4, $5, $6, $7 million worth of property when he's made $140,000 a year for 50 years? 40 something years. No, it's been 50. Yeah. The only time he made the 400,000 was when he became president. You know the salary that Trump did not take? He donated. How does Biden have $10 million to his name? But let's look back we're going to go back to Hunter and see what he's been up to. Let me back up just a little bit on this video so you guys can hear that one more time.
3 escorts from Boston to New York for a fun night that may actually classify as a not-so-fun federal offense, transporting prostitutes across state lines. Hunter's escorts often have ties to Russia. Timelines show he would pay for these services after receiving large money wires from his dad.
I got some video and pictures of these prostitutes. You know how I got them? It was all on his laptop. All of it. Everything they know about Joe Biden's corruption was on Hunter Biden's laptop. And there was more than one laptop, but the one had the majority of the stuff. This is Hunter Biden. Turn this down.
Sweetheart? Hey.
Sweetheart?
Are you okay? Everything fine? Are you hurt in any way? Any way? are you hurt?
So this lady is a Russian prostitute. So to get proof that he didn't hurt this Russian prostitute, he decided to film himself talking to and admitting to paying a Russian prostitute. This is the smartest guy Joe Biden knows. Listen.
Hey, is anything hurt on you? Anything? I was literally saying, I'm sorry that it took so long to give you $10,000. Do you have any bruise? Anything? Have I ever touched you in a bad way? Ever? God. Have I asked you every time if I could touch you? Every time. Sweetheart, look at me. You cannot talk to me that way and say things like that. Because I'm more respectful than anyone you've ever met.
So just like his father.
Are you okay?
So the story behind this was he didn't have all the money that he was supposed to pay her. So she started yelling at him. She got mad, ran downstairs, got on the phone with her pimp. And he grabs a camera or his phone, whatever this is, and says, you know what? I'm going to prove that I didn't do anything to this hoe. And he goes downstairs and admits to human trafficking, and he admits to paying her $10,000. And he says, hey, you know, the reason this got out of hand is because I was trying to get you your 10 grand. This is the guy, the poor son, my poor son, crack habit. This is the guy.
Okay.
Trying to get you money.
What?
There's one. There's a, what was that? That looks like a prostitute. Oh, there's two prostitutes. Oh, look at that. There's two more prostitutes. This is all from his laptop. This is him trying to buy an Asian. Oh, no, he didn't want an Asian prostitute. This is him buying prostitutes, ordering them. You want foreign or domestic? And you have to make pitch directly. I can't give you F and Asian. Sorry, I'm not doing it. Domesticated foreigner is fine. Like this is like McDonald's. I'd give you Isabella, but she has kids. An ex-NBA husband. No yellow. This is the kind of person that we're talking about. This is a guy who, Hunter, he's the smartest guy that Joe Biden knows. All right, let's go. Yasmina. She's not on video while he was. So this is him with the gun this is the infamous gun that he got charged with. Oh, look, there's two more prostitutes behind. These are all different ones. Again, he spent $30,000 in 5 months on prostitutes. This guy.
You naughty horse. Okay.
These are prostitutes. Let me go back just a little bit. These are prostitutes entering his shower.
You naughty horse.
What's he doing in the shower? Oh, he's looking back.
I just made it back.
So this is him again with different prostitutes. Let's see, what are they doing?
It's 2.06.
She said it's 2.06.
2.07.
2.07. That's the amount of crack that they had.
Without the bag.
Leadership. And he recorded it. Why is this a problem? It's not really a problem. But his father is the one who pushed the law that put thousands of black men, crack addicts, in prison.
Of Senator Thurmond and myself and others, a law that says If you're caught with that, you go to jail for 5 years.
5 years.
You get no probation. You get nothing other than 5 years in jail. Judge doesn't have a choice.
So again, this is not about crack. It's not about Hunter Biden. This is about the crimes that Joe Biden knew about and covered up. This is about both of them becoming multi-millionaires without having any real employment trail to justify it. That's what it is. The link is in the chat. If anybody wants to come up and talk about the pardon. What do you think? What do you think? I see a couple of issues with it, especially the Ukraine ties. Especially the Ukraine ties. Because that, to me, that's the biggest part. Trump getting impeached for something that Joe Biden did. Trump was at least the president. Joe Biden was not. Trump withheld a couple $100 million. Biden threatened to not even give $1 billion. Same country. Trump was trying to get justice and look into a crime. Joe Biden was threatening to not look into something and fire a prosecutor. That's who we're dealing with. These are the people we're dealing with. The link is pinned. I as soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, well, I knew this was going to happen. And again, I had to call my son to find out what he thought on this, because he's an attorney and he was just, he thinks it's going to hold. I think they're going to challenge it. I don't understand the sweeping, random January of 2014 to December of 2024. I don't know how you have the ability to sweep away crimes that you're not even charged with or that they don't even know about yet. My son says that he thinks that he's just essentially covering anything that's been investigated. Does that count for House investigations or just what David Weiss was investigating? I don't know. It's all fascinating to me. But everything I'm watching on the news, I'm like, they're sitting here talking about father versus son. They're not talking about it being a lie. The ones who were talking about it being a lie, at least there's some credibility there. But I've watched a lot of people defending this stuff. And I'm like, man, I wish I could go live. God, I wish I could go live. But I was either in commute the whole time or at work. And I was like, I gotta cover this. My next live, shoot, I don't know when I'll be able to do that. My next live is going to be on, there's a Supreme Court thing that's going on right now. In Tennessee, they stopped the ability to mutilate children essentially and transition them. And it's now reached the Supreme Court. And that's what my next live is going to be about. It's fascinating stuff. Fascinating. Because all the people who are fighting to protect trans children rights are forgetting the fact that they're talking about children. So that's the one I really need to go live about. But yeah, this whole work situation is messing it up right now. Just right now. I'm gonna get some time up. How you doing, Miss Real Talk Nikki? Miss Akimi, hello. Who else is in here? Phoenix Rising, of course. John Thompson, what's up? G Will, Evo the artist, what's going on, sir? I already said John Thompson. I just said it too. Mike Nice, what's going on? Andre Dub, what's up, sir? Appreciate you guys all stopping in. I know it's been a little while. But I was telling them earlier, my schedule's changed and my work, it's been a little hectic. My commute has gotten longer. Let's see who else was in here. I know I saw some more people in here. Oh, Mel Dub, of course. What's going on, Mel? Free J. I knew I was missing something. Free J, what's going on? Anybody want to talk about these pardons? What do you guys think? I saw Mel's, I didn't get to watch the whole live, but I saw him talking about more of the why black people should be offended by it. But I didn't get to do it. Excuse me. Banning transition is like banning interracial marriage. That's the point that they're trying to make. And Justice Sotomayor, what she had to say about it, I'm like, all right, here we go. And Ketanji, what is a woman? Brown? You'll see why they were trying to block her from getting into the Supreme Court. She's ridiculous. But those are two of the justices that are all in on transitioning minors, which is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity. So nobody wants to come up. And that is all I have for today. I may make a video to lead into that live. I got to figure out how I'm going to do this. But either way, I wanted to talk about this, and this is what came up. I had no, I don't want to play that right now. It's separate. Completely separate. Miss Real Talks, Nikki said every last pick of his was garbage. No, I don't think so. He had some really good ones. You mean, unless you mean the last few. Amber C coming up. 1 second. You don't have to count up or anything. I got you. Hello.
Hello.
What's going on?
I only have a couple minutes because I'm picking up my my boys from school, but I don't necessarily have the only issue I have on the Hunter Biden pardon. The only real issue I have with the pardon is that he lied. So I feel like he knew. I think he was really banking on either him winning or Kamala winning.
Yeah.
And I think when that fell apart is when he course corrected. So I feel like if he would have just been honest, and he didn't even have to, the crazy part is he didn't even have to say, no, I'm not going to pardon him.
Yep. That's what Charmaine was talking about.
Yeah, well, because you already know that KJP, she's good for redirecting. She will redirect the hell out of everybody. So if that's the case, like I think that they would have so much more credibility right now.
Yeah.
Because like you said when Charlamagne was talking, the moral high ground, y'all can forget it. You can absolutely forget it. And so I get the pardon. Like I have no issue necessarily there with the pardon. Because I honestly believe that had the situation been reversed and it was Trump, he would have pardoned his son. I think the difference is he wouldn't have been going around saying that he absolutely was not gonna pardon his son. And the way that the whole situation played out with him denying it and then them yanking him out of the running for president, and then slapping Kamala in there, and then parading all of these celebrities through the presidential streets, only to find out they were being paid to run up and down the streets, is just absolutely ridiculous. So I think when you go back and you look at the way that they handled the last 2 years, just reeked of desperation. And they already have paid for it by losing this election. I think they are doing some course correcting, or trying to do some course correcting now, but they're going to pay for this for years to come. And this Hunter Biden thing, they're definitely going to pay for that crap, because why go back to 2014? And if they don't stop playing in our faces and acting like we don't see them playing in our faces, they'll continue to get the same beatdown they got with this last election.
Yep. Because they're not even attributing the loss to the correct thing still. And here we are, a month from them losing. They're still blaming me. They're blaming black men. They're blaming black women. They're blaming white women. They're blaming everybody, instead of just saying, what could we have done differently?
Right. Keep being delusional, and we'll keep winning presidential elections. If you continue to be delusional, if you continue to not be honest with people, if you continue to take advantage of the people who put you in office, you're going to keep getting what you got. And they talk about the definition of insanity. They are beyond insanity.
It is
absolutely beyond insanity, because they keep doing the same thing every time. Now, we're not even going to try to rehash the 2020 election. I'm sure you've discussed that on lives that were many moons ago.
Yep.
But it's all coming to a head now. And so if they don't get themselves together, what you see is what you're about to get again.
And what else is going to happen is they're going to go crazy now because there are over 100 people who were still in jail over January 6th. He's going to pardon a lot of them. Now, there's a lot of them who need to stay. Well, I don't know. It's been over a year. It's been 4 years. They all need to be let go. Unless you were like accused of actual treason. I don't know any other trespass or riot or any other that level of crime garnering 4-year sentences for all these people. Like, that's wild.
I heard someone say that they were for all pardons unless there was like some type of violence that they were.
I agree with that.
Like red-handed, and so I can rock with that.
Yep.
But like you said, outside of that, and I was on my way driving, I was laughing kind of inside. I was like, wouldn't it be funny if they pulled like the J6 Part 2? So then nobody can say anything else about January 6th. Like, everybody just keep your mouth closed and let's keep it moving. Because I just feel like they're gonna boil over. They are so mad about the loss of this.
You just chopped up. You're in the matrix. But so what you're saying, I'll give you 1 second. Oh, there you are.
Over this section.
There you go.
Can you hear me?
Were chopping up. No, you were chopping up after you said they were so mad.
Yeah, they're so mad, and I think that it's gonna boil over. It's gonna spill over at some point because they are fish grease hot about losing this election.
Yeah. And in my next the next live that I'm gonna do is gonna be it's them again blaming the electorate, and they're diminishing the trans issue as a reason for them losing. And it's not the main reason, but they also have to account for the fact that ad, that them ad, was, they said, the most effective political ad in history.
Yeah.
So they're dismissing that, saying how it's not a big issue, but then they're also out there protesting at the Supreme Court in they're promoting the transitioning of children. So it's really interesting watching them play these mental gymnastics and watching them do these things, because if it's not a big deal, why are you protesting right now to mutilate children?
Right.
You just said that wasn't a big issue. They bounce all over the place, which is why I say I lean to the right. I'm upfront with where I'm coming from. But when you play these games and lie, you get what you get.
Right. I'm raising 2 boys, right? But I feel like that was a really big issue for me. I think that when it comes to that whole transgender issue, I think that women's spaces are sacred spaces. I experienced it when I was growing up. I didn't have to worry about a boy coming in the girls' bathroom. And I remember that the little boys would run to the front of the bathroom, because they were the open doors. They would run in there and we would all start screaming and they would run out and get in trouble.
Yep.
The dressing spaces were safe spaces. And I think that they just took it way too far when they took our rights to make someone else comfortable. And that's my biggest issue with that entire movement. You can be who you are and not try to diminish my rights as a woman to make you comfortable. And what's more important is it's transitioning. You don't even have to have transitioned.
Yep.
And I don't care what anybody says, body parts still work. And I'm going to leave it at that.
And even in your example where you said you guys would scream or whatever, now if the girls scream, they go and the girls get in trouble for screaming. Well, wait a minute. You gotta let them in there. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. We've just flipped all women's rights and have handed them over to guys, and it's wild.
But there have been cases where they have allowed transitioning men into women's prison, and women have gotten pregnant from these people. I don't understand. And raped. I'm sorry, R-worded. So how at what point is it going to stop? Like, at what point is it going to stop? What I'm not going to tolerate or sit by and not at least exercise my right to vote on, I will not have my people in those spaces
That
if
live's
I
going to
can
be
do anything about
crazy.
it.
That live's going to be crazy because they still go back to the Black Civil Rights Movement. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you got to be kidding me.
All right. I have to get my boys, but thank you for letting me come up.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for coming up. Appreciate it.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Oh, G. Will and Real Talk Nikki are coming up. Hello, hello, hello. What's going on, you guys?
Hello, hello. I kind of wanted to address what she said. As far as when this whole confusion people situation will end. It won't end until we put a stop to it.
Yeah.
We welcomed it. So we have to stop it. We can't leave it up to these demons to do it. We have to do it.
And we had several people in Congress trying to stop Ketanji because they knew that she would be the way she is. And when you guys hear her in my next live, you're going to be like, wow, this lady. She's using our skin color to promote mutilating children. And it's like, you got to be kidding. Her and Sotomayor, both of them.
They always do. Yep. They put our face on everything destructive. Yep. And women just don't see it.
I think they've seen it more this time, this go around, than they have in the past.
Come on now, let's be real. Only 7% of us voted for him.
But that's
7%.
Okay, that's way more than it was, and I think white women came out much more in force, and so did black men. So I take the wins, and I think on that issue, I think there's way more women. I think if it wasn't Kamala, I think we would have had more black women. They used that race card. I think if it was Joe, I think a lot more black women would have come out. I think they overpowered with the. I know you know that. We know that.
Until 2020.
We all know that. But clearly, a lot of women thought that because she's an AKA, she went to Howard. She's.
Oh wow! What does that mean?
You're with me on this one. I'm with you on this one. What's going on, Hassan? We don't disagree here, but that's the reality of how he got to only having 7% of black women. That's it.
So, I was gonna come in and say the same thing that Nikki said. It's women's fault that I was going off of what Amber was talking about with men using biological males being able to use the facilities with women and people frowning upon the complainers about it, rather than, saying, hey, dude, you were born a man, you can't be going in the women's restrooms, taking, like she said, her rights away. I got to blame that on women.
Thank you.
Y'all got to blame that on women, and y'all really got to blame it on black women. Because it's a y'all are the biggest supporters
on black women. So
I agree. I agree with on that one.
Here's where I disagree with that. Here's where I disagree with that. There's not enough black women to have made that impact. I think a lot more white women were in on this too, and a lot of that community was pushing until they realized, oh wait a minute, whoa, now we're talking about kids. I'm not for that. So
okay, but where did they start it off at?
They always start with us. Yeah, they always start.
Okay, right. So because they start, why do they start with us?
Because we have the sympathy and empathy of the 60s civil rights movement, and we can go all the way back to slavery. That's why they use
and isn't it said that
everything doesn't compare to slavery though. Everything does not compare to slavery. And me, what gets on my nerves is I ain't never been a slave. I don't know anybody who was a slave. When my grandfather picked cotton, he got paid for it. And that's how he fed his family. But I'm so sick of we have to jump on everybody else's cause. Listen, man, if you want to dress up and play a woman, or if you want to dress up and play man, like, and what's bad is, studs ain't out here asking to use men's restrooms.
No.
It's men asking to use women's restrooms, and nobody sees anything wrong. I'm not gonna say nobody, but the mainstream doesn't see a problem with that. It's not studs. Studs ain't being like, "Hey, yo, I want to go in the men's restroom and use a urinal." Nah, it's men wanting the right to use the restroom with women, and everybody's like, "Yeah, look good, it's cool."
Like, it's fine.
It's not even about all the trans rights. It's about one half of the trans. So it's even less than the. It's like, I think it's at 0.001% are trans. It's half of that.
Right.
Because to your point, actually, there's probably more women. No, I don't know. I don't know those numbers, but it's still half.
It's not enough.
That's
Hey,
all.
I'm bad on trans rights because I got a sister that turned that want to be called my brother, and I got a niece that want to be called my nephew, and the niece that want to be called my nephew was real tough and strong on social media, and then they had to be in my face for Thanksgiving, and I had to let them know. I was like, hey, if you want to be a man, I treat you like one, and respect between men is something that I take very seriously. I was like, and if you're gonna be disrespectful on social media, I need you to keep that same energy when you're in my face. Didn't talk to me the whole dinner. So I'm just saying, like, but like I said, studs and transitional women, female to male, I don't hear them whining about nobody using the men's restroom. They might use the men's restroom because a lot of times you can't tell. If I showed you a picture of my sister brother, you'd be like, "What? That's the same person?" Just saying. But I'm sick of this whole narrative. It is men whining about being able to share the same facilities with women. It is men saying, "Hey, we want to fight girls." Hey, it's men wanting to say we want to compete with girls. And I'm like, dude, y'all don't see nothing. And the bad part is, like, the whole feminist movement of whatever year that was. The whole feminist movement has been thrown out the water because men have infiltrated everything women fought for.
Thank you.
It's wild.
And I don't understand how 2 + 2 does not equal 4.
Yeah, trans rights are to be feminists now.
You gotta be careful because you said everybody. Now Phoenix Rising said, "Who is everybody?" Because I don't agree with a grown man in public restroom with females.
Oh no. I thought I cleared that up. I thought I cleared that up, but no. Hey, Miss Phoenix Rising, I love you. Look, don't. I ain't trying to be on your bad. You always show love when I'm in the chat. So.
Andre W said they holler, believe the science. Yep, but when they play science. When they stop taking those shots, etc., biology revert them back to the sex. Biology always wins. I respect anyone, but the facts are the facts. Yep, that's what it is. It's what it is. So yeah, so that next live is gonna be. You guys are gonna be like, you got to be kidding.
So what's bad is what you just said is 100% right. So a man can lose testosterone as he gets older, and has to take supplements if he's not doing what he needs to do to keep his testosterone up, right?
Yeah.
But that testosterone automatically turns into estrogen if you don't do it. So a female has to take testosterone to make them feel like a man. I don't know what the proper scientific term is, but if they stop taking that testosterone, estrogen takes over again. So yeah, 100% right, man. 100% right.
I'm kind of thinking, because I don't have another day off until next Thursday. I'm kind of thinking I'm going back live tonight, or should I just keep going?
Hey, I need you. I don't know if you saw my comment, but I'm telling you, cue up white lines, bro, for Hunter Biden. I need that.
That's funny.
Base.
I come back a little bit. What's going on, Henry? Or should I just keep going? Because I have it's all already.
If you come back in a little bit, we gonna be right here. At least I am.
I think maybe like 6 or 7 because it's 4 here now. I think I'm gonna come back and do it because, like I said, I'm not gonna be able to go back live until next Thursday. Because when I get home, I keep saying, okay, when I get home, I'm gonna go live. But that commute after work, 1.5 to 2 hours. I'm like, oh, I just be too tired. I think I'm gonna she said white lines as well. Yeah, I think I'm gonna come back tonight and do that live because it's insane. It's insane what's going on right now, and I want to get it out, and I don't want to wait a whole week to do that. Yeah,
whatever you want to do,
it's scheduled, that's what it is. But other than that, if you guys don't have anything on this Hunter Biden thing, I think I'm going to be back tonight to do
I'm shocked he didn't let Trump just do it because Trump said he was going to do it.
Yeah, but he wasn't going to do it. He definitely wasn't going to cover 11 years. Definitely wasn't. Yeah, that's just any crime that he may have committed. That's the part that I was talking to my son-in-law about. Like, I see the convictions, I see the charges, but anything that he may have done, that's wild.
Hey, go ahead.
What's your take on him considering pardoning Falsey?
Falsey?
Yeah, Dr. Falsey.
For what? He hasn't been convicted of anything either.
But
possibly, I guess he could do that same type of blanket immunity.
Yes.
I think that would be a problem because right now he can hide behind the fact that it's my son. He's just a baby. He's a kid, 50-year-old crackhead.
He's a baby. He's a kid. Okay.
So he's able to hide behind that morality thing. I don't think you can get away with that with the Fauci situation because now you're just being blatantly corrupt. And they can still go after Biden. I just don't know if they have the political will to do that because he received millions of dollars.
Yeah, his son was blatantly corrupt. That was blatantly corrupt for him to do his son. But I don't want to. The only thing I got to say on this whole thing, because I've watched the Charlemagne interview over and over and over again, and my boy was cooking everybody up there.
Mm-hmm.
But my biggest thing is no one who supports that party can ever talk to me about somebody being a convicted felon.
Nope.
Nobody. You can't say that.
Do that.
Nope. You can't say it. You can't say it. You can't say, oh well, he's allowed to do it because you guys voted a convicted felon into the White House. Come on, man.
So let's be real though. So Russia was designed, the whole Russia, that first impeachment was designed to not have to be able to run again. Right. They did it again with the Zelensky phone conversation. Again, it was designed to make him unelectable a second term because they were all thinking about 2020. They weren't thinking about 2024. They didn't think that far ahead. Then the January 6th thing happened, so they used that. It's been nonstop, but it was all designed to stop him from running again. So January 6th happened. He's supposedly lost. So the first thing they started doing was trying to prosecute him and blame him, call him insurrectionist and all that stuff. And it's like, no, this is interesting. Why are they still going with this?
You know what the best part about all this is, though?
Mm-hmm.
Is in all that they're doing, right? All that they're doing right now, all they're doing is setting up the next election for Vance. That's all they're doing. That's all they're doing because the more stupid stuff they continue to do, the less confidence the American people are having in that party. And then the people who have been like ride or die, they're starting to see the bull crap that we've been seeing for a long time. It's only going to get worse.
Yeah, it's only going to get worse.
They're having a big temper tantrum right now.
Yeah, so after January 6th, they started going after him for other things. And that's when Fannie Willis and New York. So they had New York, they had Mar-a-Lago, they had all these other random things to try and lock him up. Why? So they could say, well, he can't run again. Then they're like, well, he can run if he's in jail. What do?
Yeah.
They literally, I won't say they, but he was literally shot at.
Yeah, twice.
He was literally shot. So these measures to stop one man from doing something is showing people, they're like, what is really going on here? And to your point, more people are looking into it saying, oh, this is interesting. So these next 4 years are going to be phenomenal. And they're going to unleash a lot. Cash Patel is going to unclassify so many things, or declassify so many things that the government has been doing, and it's just going to be phenomenal.
And the funny part is, their only party base is going to be those ride or die. I was programmed to hate everything Republican, so I'll always vote Democrat,
no matter what.
But wait, the best part about that is I'll always vote Democrat, but I'll say I'm an independent.
Yeah, I love how you heard that. I'm an independent. You ain't knowing.
I'm an independent.
When they say that.
Which picks did you not like? I know Rubio has to be one of them, because you mentioned that in the chat. You said you didn't like. You said all of his picks were garbage.
No, well, I still have to pay attention to a few of Trump's picks, but I'm talking about the judges. All of
no, they're actually they're holding firm right now. The Trump ones are holding firm right now. Once you hear their
about Joe Biden's picks.
Oh yes,
Joe Biden's judges picks on the circuit court. Everybody was garbage.
I thought you were talking about Trump's cabinet picks, and then gotcha.
Yeah, and just you talking about the him being upset with, he's like, there's a witch hunt against my son from his Department of Justice pick. Now the Department of Justice was his friend when they was going after Trump.
Exactly.
Now they're witch hunting my baby, and I'm not going to stand for it.
No, he doesn't believe that. So again, they set it up to make it look like it was neutral. And that's the plan all along, in my opinion. They set it up to say, okay, well, look, they're prosecuting my son too. Oh, look, he got convicted. These are like the most minimal charges that could have been brought against him. They're nothing charges. That's why when it happened, I was laughing, but I was like, this is nothing. Because the tax evasion, whatever, he paid it back. These are things that he could have easily appealed and possibly gotten whatever. They're not the stuff like not registering as a foreign asset, or not foreign asset, but a foreign what is it called? Not advocate, a foreign lobbyist. The money that he made overseas illegally, they're like, you can't cover for this stuff. So I just
So and like Amber C said that she didn't have a problem with him partying. I don't have a problem with him partying your son. I really don't. I do the same thing. But the biggest thing is nope. We gotta trust the justice system, and we gotta do this, and we, I'm not gonna pardon him. Okay, all right. Well, I don't understand what was the point of the grandstanding the line, because you could have just been like, it's my son, or we'll see.
What she said was important, though. What she said something in there that was very important. She said if they're relying on him or Kamala winning, it never gets to this.
Right, never gets to it. Right.
So I think that's why he's just like, all right, well, we lost. I'm going to do what I said I was going to do anyway. But now there's going to be a little bit more pushback, because had they won, I think the Justice Department would have figured out some way to let him off early or time served, because he hadn't been sentenced yet. They had it all figured out, and it all blew up when Trump won.
No. All he did was make himself look guilty.
He doesn't care about the guys.
The guy don't care. He was already deemed too old to stand trial for anything. So,
well, no, that's just one. That's why I think he.
Right.
I don't know how he gets past that, because he still has culpability. I'm wondering if he's going to do the same thing for his brother, because his brother is just as guilty as Hunter. They did the same stuff, and they both come away with millions and millions and millions of dollars. So. It's really, I don't know. It doesn't stop investigations. It just stops the ability to convict at a federal level.
I'm just waiting on the whole, what happens with the Ukraine, after January 25th.
Oh, it's over. It's over.
I want to see how all that plays out. What all everybody got to say then, because stuff
Everyone's
is going
already
to start.
talking. They're already talking peace. Zelensky's the only one not talking peace, but
Yep.
he will come around when he's dealing with Trump. He just,
Yeah.
but
He's
even
gonna have to,
Hamas,
because he ain't gonna get no more money.
yeah, there's even a ceasefire over there in Hamas on their side, which
Yep.
I never thought I'd see Hamas say, okay, let's talk peace. But he said that they better release all of the hostages. Hamas better release all of the hostages before he gets in office. So,
oh man,
just hearing that is so cool. It's like, why couldn't Biden just say this?
Yeah. It's nice to have because there's no money in it. There's no money in peace to them. There's no money in peace to them. Let's keep the conflicts going, and let's keep getting paid to where everybody's focused on the conflict and not the money that we're lining our pockets with. So, that's why they didn't want to do it. But that's why I'm thankful Trump is a different dude.
Yeah. Yep.
When it comes to that stuff, Trump gonna have his own little stuff that he does behind the scenes. But
well, you see, I posted what he did to Trudeau, Canada.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny. That mess was fun. Come on, man.
He's sitting there talking about it's gonna hurt their economy. He's like, if $100 billion hurts your economy, you should just become the 51st.
Become the governor. Make it the 51st state. And become the governor of Canada.
A picture of him on the mountain with the.
Come on, man.
So great. So great.
Come on, man.
Yeah. So come up with that is hilarious. He's like, if it's really enough to destroy your economy, but he didn't say he was going to hold the money or do the tariffs. He said stop illegal immigration, because there's illegal immigration coming from up north too.
Yeah, it's coming through the Canadian border. Yeah.
So the tariffs won't hurt if you do what he asks. That's what people are missing about these tariffs. He's not saying he's going to do it. He's saying it's conditional. If you don't do A, then these tariffs are going to happen.
It's going to happen.
B is going to be the result. It's really simple.
Right.
It really is. So.
Did you hear about the drug bust in Mexico?
Yeah,
that was a really big one.
Oh, I wonder why they're now cracking down.
Right.
So,
yes.
So weird.
Now lately, I guess this week, everything, all drug busts, been on the rise in Mexico. But it was low early in the year, but now it's on the rise.
They have 1 month to get it together. And even the Mexico president, she was talking tough at the beginning too. She's come full circle. We're okay. We're gonna do it. We're gonna crack down. Okay.
Everybody's coming full circle.
They all try to save face until they have to deal with the reality. Those tariffs are real. It's going to happen. Sorry.
Yeah, but we're complaining. Like if you talk to young people, they start complaining about tariffs and how it's going to kill our economy, right? And I was like, kill the economy is already bad. I was like, I think the tariffs that Trump had in place when he was in office are still there, right?
Yep.
Exactly. And they get real quiet when I say that, and I'm like, I don't understand how that. I was like, so I was like, the tariffs wasn't what killed the economy.
No, and Biden actually increased some of them. That's what's so funny. Like you guys are talking like we're not already under this.
Watch this. So I don't know.
What's going on, Oliver Green? But
it's in our elections. They don't pay attention, but they vote.
I'm just that's what they're blaming. They're blaming everybody.
They pay attention, Nikki.
They blame themselves.
Low propensity voters.
They pay complete attention, Nikki. They pay attention to Joy Reid. They pay attention to Roland Martin. They pay attention to Don Lemon.
People that are paid to tell them what they tell them.
Whoopi Goldberg, Sonny Holston, Joy Behar. Yeah, all of them. They pay attention to all of them.
See, I don't understand. Like these people are paid to tell you what they tell you.
Yeah, on a liberal network at that.
And then they're wondering why they're all getting fired or the ratings are just trash. Their ratings have dropped over 50%, I think they said.
Can Elon Musk please hurry up and buy MSNBC just to put a smile on my face?
That would be so phenomenal.
Oh,
they've been trolling the left on this because they're all going crazy. Joe Rogan said, "I'll take Rachel Maddow's spot," and all of a sudden that turned into like a headline. It was a joke. They don't understand. Well, I think they intentionally don't understand humor.
Well, Rachel Maddow, didn't she get paid like 7 or 20 something million a year or something like that?
Yeah, 25 to just sit there, lie, and cry. It's wild. Wow. There's no way that's going to be upheld. They're going to figure that out. They're going to fire her for performance or something.
Yeah. So the one thing you never came back because you've been busy, but we were talking about the $1 billion of the campaign money that just went crazy. Now it's up to $2 billion.
Is it really? I didn't know.
Yes, bro. It's up to $2 billion.
Wow. I heard it went up to like 1.3. So that means $2 billion, and they still overspent by 20 million. Here's what's funny.
Still overspent by 20 million.
She wanted to run the country, and this is why it's important to have a business person. She wanted to run the country. She wanted to run trillions of dollars, but she can't even manage $1 billion. $1 billion is a lot of money.
The first Black woman to be president. Excuse you.
But this is the on that side where they talk about the people voted against a woman that was more qualified than the man, and I'm sitting there like, how are you more qualified to be president than someone who has been president?
Yeah.
Right.
And now it's showing because if you can't handle that amount of money,
right?
It's just showing that how important a business person is. $1 billion in the overall grand scheme of things when it comes to the country is not a lot of money, and you could not handle that. I didn't know it was $2
billion.
But what? Also, another lesson that we could take from this: this is a government employee, so this is how our government spends our money.
That's why Doge.
Pay attention to that.
Yep, that's why Doge is going to be amazing. They're going to slash so much government waste. When he went into
I don't know where
Twitter,
I want them to start. Either the Pentagon, because they forever losing trillions of dollars every damn year.
I think I went over that. I think I did that on our live where she was like, "Well, we know the money's not gone. We just don't know where it is." And Jon Stewart's like, "Okay."
Yeah, that makes it better. Yeah, it's not gone. We just can't find it.
7 straight audits. 7 straight audits over $1 trillion. They don't know where it's at.
Yeah,
we've been losing this money since Bush.
Yeah, we don't know.
If we fail one audit, there's definitely going to be court and potentially jail time. Look at Wesley Snipes. Yep. They failed 7 audits. That's insane.
Hey, I'm gonna say this, and hopefully people understand that as a Black man, I feel like I can't say it. If this ain't the most stereotypical thing about Black people with money I ever heard in my life.
It's crazy. She wore the same pearls and necklace the whole time. Now we know what's going on with the pearls and the earring. Now,
the
earrings were microphones.
Right.
The same. I think maybe just because it matched. Clutching pearls.
Clutching pearls.
Yes, it's Tiffany. Is it Tiffany? No, that's the mayor, isn't it? She got in trouble too. Mayor of Dalton.
Oh yeah.
Don't she stay in trouble?
Yeah, but now they're actually doing something. They're actually doing something about it. Like she got in like real trouble. That woman's another one, completely corrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Completely corrupt.
Yeah, you had me cracking up that you mentioned Fonnie Willis taking L's from every direction right now.
Yeah, that's
YSL didn't go her way.
No, they're about to say that they're about to drop that one too. Yeah.
No, they came out with the verdict.
Oh, did they? I didn't even know. That was today?
They came out with the verdict, not guilty.
I didn't know they had the full.
So Thug.
I'm talking about the Trump one.
So Thug and one other person took a plea bargain so they could go home because they were just tired of the bull crap.
No, I knew about that one. I was talking about the Trump one. She's still trying to Trump.
Oh yeah, she's still trying to work out the Trump thing, but Trump's lawyer ain't playing with her right now.
No, they threatened Letitia James up in New York, and now they're telling her just stop. You're not gonna. The immunity thing's gonna apply anyway. That's why all the other cases are being dropped or stayed. It's just not gonna happen. But
So, do you know these 34 felony charges that they're talking about, right? So, so do they all go away as well?
Yes, he was never sentenced. The convictions go away.
That's funny.
It's really funny because they can't even say that anymore. They could say he was convicted by the jury, but he's not a convict.
Yeah, as long as you say, keep that same energy when it comes to the president's son, convicted felon Hunter Biden, pardoned by his father.
Yep, can't say that anymore. So you can't say anything. You can't call Trump convicted felon anymore. He was never sentenced to anything.
Yep,
I think that's the only reason why they were trying to hold it.
Hey, Sonny Holston was like, if they should take, the questionnaire off of applications now. If the president can be a convicted felon, then everywhere should hire him.
No.
No, that's what I'm doing a live on. I'm oh, sorry.
But you can't tell an entrepreneur what Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos or even a small business owner. You can't tell nobody who they can and cannot hire. Now, maybe federal, they could take that off, but no. If I want to ask, I want to ask.
Right.
Yeah, Mel Dub asked if I heard Katanji, what is a woman around her descent transgender surgeries to Loving versus Virginia. Yes, I'm actually doing a live on that. I'm going back live tonight because I won't be able to go live again until next Thursday. So once I'm going to go back live tonight and talk about some stuff.
Well, let's end this one so you can get some relaxation for a minute, and then we'll see you later.
Yes, sir.
Are you going back on?
Probably like 3 hours, like 7, the latest 8 my time. So you guys, it'll be early for you guys. It might be a little late for the other guys, but yeah.
All right, I'll see y'all later.
Later.
See you later.
Bye. Thank you. All right. So yes, I decided I am going to go back live later on because I don't want to wait that long to cover the topic that I'm going to talk about. But Mel, topic I'm covering is the Tennessee case that's going on right now about transitioning children. I don't want to wait a week to go over that, so decided I'm going to log off and come back on a little bit later on today and go over that because I think that's important. I think it's very important. So that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you, everyone who stopped in. Mel, of course, Phoenix Rising, Olive Green Apartments, Mike Nice, thank you. Andre Dub was in here. Phoenix Rising, always. I'm going to say Phoenix Rising like 3 more times. Henry Caldwell. I already said Andre Dub. Hassan was in here also. Thank you for stopping by. Miss Akimi, thank you. G Will, Real Talk Nikki, thanks for coming up. John Thompson was in here. Evo the Artist, thank you guys for stopping in. Appreciate you all. We'll say Phoenix Rising again. Who else was in here? I know. Oh, Free J was in here. Thank you very much for stopping in. Let's see what else. I think that's everybody. I think I got everybody. AMC was up here today. Thank you for coming up. And with that said, Dan Tano was in here. Appreciate you. Yeah, Free J, that was the last one. Thank you guys so much. I caught Amber C. Appreciate you. So from now on, I don't want to drop all the links. They're in the description, so I'll just, I'll leave it at that. Everyone that I follow and frequent their channels are in the description. For the people who were up here today, Miss Real Talk Nikki was in here, so follow her. I will still drop the people who are actually in the chat. So subscribe to Miss Real Talk Nikki. Mel Dub was in here. It just takes a long time to go through all of them every time. Not that it's a bad thing, but right now I'm trying to come back later on, so I don't want to do the whole thing. Mel Dub was in here. He's still in here. So sub up to Mel. Great content creator. Miss Akini was in here also. Let me go ahead and paste her. Great content creator. Thank you for stopping in earlier. G Will and his business. Who else was in here? Anybody else in here? No, not today. G Will has STG Designs, and what they do is custom apparel, t-shirts, embroidery, sublimation, tumblers, coffee mugs, cool stuff. He's made several things for me. He's actually come up with a logo for me that I'll be using going forward. I'm doing couple more changes. You guys will see a couple more changes. If you would like to donate to the channel, oh wait, for that, if you need to reach out to Gw for any of those things, that's his Instagram right there. If you'd like to donate to the channel, I'm going to keep making changes for the better. And let's see, this is my CashApp. If you'd like to provide a fresh wind. Like, subscribe, share. Let's see. For the people on YouTube, this is my Rumble. So please follow me on Rumble. I do really well over there. Not better than here on this side, but I'm doing good over there. I really am happy with my Rumble. And if you're a content creator, you should have Rumble. If you're on Rumble and you're watching this is my YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, and share over here. This is my X account, and that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you all again. Bam. Appreciate you. If you know anybody who would disagree or agree, share. I am getting close to the 500 mark. I'm at 489, which is really exciting, really cool. So yeah, 489, and I'm almost at my watch hour, so I'll be getting monetized. Hopefully, if I can keep going live. The more I go live, the better. Obviously, that helps my watch time. But yeah, that's what I got. That's all I got for you guys. Thank you. Appreciate you. And let's see, who do I got music-wise? Master Ace. If you don't know who that is, you should. Shame on you. This song is called 1970 something. That's who I'm going out with for now, and then I'll be back later on in a couple hours. See you guys.